What's going on, everyone? I'm Colin from CD's Retro Corner. Today we're going to be talking about the AYN Thor, the newest 3DS style handheld from Anytech. I'll give you some general impressions and my thoughts after using it for a week, as well as a brief unboxing video and hardware review, how I've set up the device, and some early impressions from games that I've tried. Let's get into it. Just received my AYN Thor in the mail, and I did unbox it on camera, but I didn't like the way that came out, so I figured I'd do a bit of a separate unboxing video just to show you what comes in the box. So this is the 512 gigabyte model, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it is the rainbow version. So in the box, you're going to get your AYN Thor, which is really nice. Again, I really appreciated the build quality here. The buttons are very clicky. The screens are really nice and sharp. Those OLEDs have some really nice blacks. The thumbsticks, while recessed and a little small for my bigger hands, have been comfortable for using during every game that I've tried. D-pad's really nice. It's got a very nice hinge. The hinge doesn't feel cheap. The device in general has some weight to it, coming in at about 380 grams. Buttons feel very clicky. The triggers feel responsive and snap back into place. I'm very happy with what I've seen so far. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of, the SD card slot, always feels like I'm going to break this little hinge whenever I take it out. Getting my finger in to jam the micro SD card out always feels like I'm going to break something, but maybe that's just because I have big hands, I'm not sure. But overall, what else comes in the box? You do get a charger, as well as a couple of screen protectors as well, which I opted not to use. When I'm traveling, I do have a small travel bag that I have for electronics. And, with a clamshell device, the whole point of it to me is to have a device that closes and protects the screens. So I feel like adding a screen protector to that, while I might regret this one day, does kind of defeat the purpose of that. Let's talk specs. These two devices are very similar in size. You'll notice that the 3DS XL is a little bit more wide than the AYN Thor, but their depth is very similar and their height is very similar. The screen sizes are very similar between the two devices, but the quality on the AYN Thor is completely different. You'll notice that the AYN Thor is a little bit heavier at 380 grams versus the 3DS XL's 329 grams. It has a more matte plastic feel, so you get less fingerprints on the outside of the device versus something like the 3DS XL, which is already getting fingerprints just after filming for a few minutes. You'll notice that the outside of my case is already scuffed up and fingerprinted. The displays are not even in the same universe. The dual AMOLED displays on the AYN Thor has a 1080p bottom and top display. These are really nice. The blacks are super nice on them. We'll go ahead and turn it on here so you can see what I'm talking about. Versus the displays on the 3DS XL, these are extremely low resolution. I believe it's 240p for each top and bottom device. As you start to upscale your 3DS games, you'll notice that it is a night and day difference between these two devices. But I've really enjoyed, even you can tell right out of the gate, the blacks, you can barely see the difference between the screen and the bezels on the side of the screen. It's very, very nice. The front end that I'm using is something called Cocoon. I'll link that in the video description. Cocoon took a little bit of setting up, but it's a really nice front end. It kind of feels like a native console, native 3DS experience. There's folders for all of your different games. You can scan the games and get title art and metadata from each game as well. So as you build out your ROM collection, you can get some really nice front end, user experience elements out here. The screens on the AYN Thor are very high quality. These two AMOLED screens have really nice blacks, really good color contrast. I've really enjoyed the games that I've played so far on this thing. I've loaded up my entire emulation library here. 3DS games that I've played have looked really sharp. I've rolled through a couple of PlayStation 1 games. I'll have a review video up soon. I played through an old favorite, Metal Slug X from the PlayStation 1. I really enjoyed that. just the colors are really nice, the blacks are really nice. It's a really good user experience. I'll boot up a 3DS game here so you can see what I'm talking about. I've sort of played through a few 3DS games that I missed back in the day. You know, I'm a little behind on the Pokemon games, so I've been playing through Pokemon X for the first time. The colors are just really nice, really sharp. Been very impressed, both with the performance of this device and the colors of the screen. So for this, I'm running this at about 5x resolution with an HD texture pack, and I'll probably do a more in-depth video of these HD texture packs, but they are absolute game changers. I mean, this feels like the quality of something you would see from the Nintendo Switch versus a 3DS game. Just to give you an idea of what this looks like, this is running native resolution. This is 5x resolution with the 5x 4K HD texture pack. The difference is very substantial, in my opinion. You know, both the jagged edges of the characters are a lot smoother. You know, you can start to load in these high-resolution texture packs, which add a lot more detail to these beautiful models that Nintendo has rendered over the years that you aren't able to really fully appreciate on a base 3DS model or running a game at native resolution. That 5x resolution makes a huge difference in these games. It really brings them up to a modern standard that you don't see anywhere else on a native 3DS title. I'll have a few more in-depth review videos coming out. Hopefully sometime this week. I'm going to try to do a video a day, you know, showing some of the setup process that it's taken to get the AYN Thor set up, showing some of the games that I've loaded and some of the custom texture packs and settings that I've used to make those games really shine, as well as starting to roll through some classic games. You know, I really would love to boot up some PlayStation X and Game Boy Color games from my childhood. There's a long list I've been meaning to replay through, and I think the AYN Thor is going to be the device that helps me do it. In general, just some closing thoughts. I really like this device. I love being able to just close a small device and throw it in my pocket when I'm, you know, in the car, heading to work, on a trip. You know, I have a few other larger handheld devices that I'll probably review at some point. I've had a Steam Deck since launch, and I've got an Xbox Ally X, and I really do like those devices, but they're just so large. They're not very travel friendly. You know, they're good for when you want to plop down on the couch or take it out in a hotel room, but you know, when you're on a plane or in a bus station or traveling in a car, you don't really want to bring out one of these devices. They're just too big and unwieldy. Where something like the AYN Thor, you know, you could slip this in your pocket and you can really take this anywhere super easily. I've really been impressed with this. I think I'm excited to see where it takes me over the next few weeks, and as I learn more about the device and the tweaks, I'm excited to see what it brings. Well, thank you guys for spending some time with me. If you guys have any questions about the AYN Thor, if there's anything you want to see, any games you want to see tested, any other more in-depth comparisons between the 3DS and the AYN Thor, please let me know. This is kind of a new thing for me. I've always wanted to get into doing some video editing. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, but for now, I'll see you next time.